Tyrone Johnson cried hysterically during his interview with investigators. The jury watched as detectives tried to calm him down repeatedly and struggled to understand what he was saying about the day he gunned down his girlfriend, Stephanie Willis, and her 10-year-old son, Ricky. Both were found dead in a bedroom apartment they shared with Johnson. Prosecutors say the horrific events of October 21st, 2018 all began with an argument over what to watch on TV.
I changed to TV. You changed the TV? To football. Okay.
Johnson continued to break down as he claimed the fight turned personal when Stephanie blamed him for his son's recent suicide.
She said, I see why your son killed himself like because you were and I called him back and I said, come and get me.
Johnson called his father for help and heard some of the confrontation.
That he hears the phone drop and 2 shots.
Johnson claims the boy came running into the master bedroom.
Did he say you hurt my mommy? Is that what he said? Yes.
But prosecutors say that's not what the evidence shows. They say the frightened 10-year-old hid under his bed and was hunted down by Johnson.
We have shell casings, we have blood, we have holes in the wall in the little boy's room.
Prosecutors say a cold and calculated killer that deserves to pay with his life.
Police about the killing of his girlfriend and her 10-year-old son. That's what the jury saw today in the double murder trial.
I had to calm him down repeatedly and struggled to understand what he was saying about the day he gunned down his girlfriend, Stephanie Willis, and her 10-year-old son, Ricky. Both were found dead and continued to break down as he claimed the fight turned personal when Stephanie blamed him for his son's.
Police about the killing of his girlfriend and her 10-year-old son. That's what the jury saw today.
Beaten and bruised, Raymond Frolander stood before a judge and didn't say a word during his first appearance in court. Daytona Beach police arresting Frolander for sexually assaulting an 11-year-old boy. His face severely bruised after the boy's father caught him in the act and then beat him unconscious. This phone call to 911 happened shortly after.
I just walked in and found a grown man molesting, and I got him in a bloody puddle for you right now, officer.
Okay, sir.
You discover that he has been sexually abusing him in your home. You know, father did what a father had to do.
Police found Frolander motionless on the floor of the apartment where the sexual battery occurred. First responders had to take him to the hospital to be checked out.
Send him an ambulance. He's going to need one.
Were there any weapons involved?
My fist and my foot.
Police say the victim told them Frolander had been assaulting him since he was 8 years old.
You think to yourself, here's a young man whose innocence was taken away from him. You know, 8 to 11-year-olds should be outside riding their bike and playing sports and playing video games.
Frolander did not receive a bond and will stay in jail for the time being. Investigators are meeting.
Tyrone Johnson cried to interview with investigators. Continued to break down as he claimed the fight turned personal.
The Riverview man charged in a gruesome rampage that killed his girlfriend, his young daughter, and nearly killed his 8-year-old son. O'Neill, representing himself, shouted at the jury during his opening statement.
And the evidence is going to show that law enforcement tampered with evidence.
But the state says evidence is indisputable that the only person responsible for the violent attack on his family is Ronnie O'Neill. And it starts with a 911 call from Kenyatta Barron, O'Neill's girlfriend.
She made that call with fear in her voice.
Kenyatta can be heard pleading for her life. Prosecutors say by then she'd already been shot. And while the recording continued, they say O'Neill can be heard beating her with a shotgun.
The evidence will show that that was just the beginning. That's just the beginning of what happened this evening.
Investigators say after killing Kenyatta, O'Neill brutally murdered his 9-year-old daughter, Ranivia, and tried to stab to death his 8-year-old son, also named Ronnie, before setting him and the house on fire.
And it's just the beginning of what became an odyssey for this little boy. An odyssey of violence, an odyssey of brutality.
The little boy, however, survived the attack, barely.
But the words that came out of this little boy's mouth were not a cry for help. They were not a help me or a painful cry. They will tell you the first words that came out of this little brave boy's mouth. My daddy killed my mommy.
The evidence is going to show my son did not see me murder his mom. The evidence is going to show he did not see me shoot his mom.
About the kidnapping and murder of a Tallahassee mother. 26-year-old Elisa Thompson found dead in the cargo hold of her vehicle last Friday night.
If you want to see more, I'll be putting the links in the description below. Just tap the more than the YouTube button. Subscribe.
The way it looked, tore your life apart.